Hello, Captains. How are you doing? Hope you're having a wonderful day. This video may be a little confusing. Let me explain. This will take some explanation. This video is going to be a continuation. This is a new series continuation that I'm doing of my very first playthrough I ever did for Star Trek Online on this channel. That playthrough was called the Let's Play Star Trek Online Federation Faction 2012. That's right, this is a continuation of my 2012 Federation Faction playthrough that I started in January of 2012. No joke, 6 years ago. It is now 2018. So in that series, the last video that I recorded under the character Ensign Ricky was part 89, or episode 89 of that series. And in that last episode, 89, which I will put in the top right corner for you to click on and rewatch if you want to go back to my last video in this series, I talked about the Tier 5 reputation and reaching the Omega reputation and just basically where my character was at in terms of updating him at end game in episode 89. So that video was recorded in September of 2013. September of 2013. And now, in this video, which will be part 90, continuing that series, it is 5 years later in June of 2018. That's right, there has been a gigantic 5-year gap between part 89 and what you are seeing right now, part 90. So, why am I doing this? Why am I continuing our Ensign Ricky playthrough? Well, quite simple. I want to first update you on the latest happenings of Ensign Ricky and all the updates that he's had recently and all his gear updates. But also I want to continue this series because we have a slew of brand new episodes to play, because Cryptic has just released the 4th expansion to Star Trek Online called Victory is Life here in June of 2018. And with Victory is Life is a new series of missions. Now, of course, there have been a lot of new additional missions between Part 89 and Part 90 here in the last 5 years. There have definitely been new missions. Lots of new story arcs have popped up. Now, the thing is that I played those missions as they were released, one at a time on my main character as featured episodes. And so I've already got recordings of all those missions during the last 5 years. In addition, there's been expansions and other updates. For example, the entire Delta Quadrant, which had a ton of new missions. And I've done a playthrough already of that series. I may not have done it with Ensign Ricky, but I have done it, and it is recorded on this channel. There's a playlist for it. So, instead of, covering all those missions during the last 5 years, I've already done all that. So what I'm going to do is I want to play the new Gamma Quadrant missions that have been released. But instead of just playing them as one-off missions like I normally would, just making featured episode single missions with my main character and recording those episodes, I decided, wouldn't it be a great idea to pull Ensign Ricky out of mothballs and bring him back and basically continue that Federation Faction 2012 playthrough by playing the latest missions that have been released in Victory is Life. And so that is the goal today. It is simply to play catch-up, to give you and show you what Ensign Ricky has currently in June of 2018, and you can compare that to the Part 89, the last video, where he left off. He was level 50, by the way, there. That was max level back then, was level 50. And I did reach level 50 by Part 89. And now you can see I'm level 65, so he's definitely been upgraded. But in addition to that, what I'm going to do is play missions that I haven't yet played on him to catch him up to the point where I can play the Gamma Quadrant missions. And then we are going to play the new Gamma Quadrant missions. And so, or the Jem'Hadar missions, whatever you want to call them. And that's really it. This is just a shortened kind of series that I'm doing so that I can just record all the missions on one character that I know you guys are used to or have seen in the past as some nostalgia, and then to just, you know, play those missions from a Federation faction standpoint, because I think that will be interesting as well. And so today's video, part 90, is going to be about playing catch-up. This video specifically will be me showing you and exploring Ensign Ricky's updates, both on ground and space, for 2018, and showing you what I've upgraded him to, what he's flying, the gear that he will be using for the upcoming videos. And then starting in part 91, episode 91, I will be playing the missions to get us up to the point that we need to play the Gamma Quadrant missions. And if I go to my mission list now, I've already looked through all this. I am up to the point where I need to play some of the New Frontiers missions. I've got Scylla and Charybdis left to play, and I've got the Renegade's Regret left to play. As you can see, I did do Melting Pot on this character, but these two here under New Frontiers I need to play. I might just make one long video catching us up to the Gamma Quadrant stuff. And I also need to do, or maybe two videos, I also need to go back and do, under the Delta Quadrant, they've reorganized the Kobali Crisis ground stuff. And as you can see, my Act 1, 2, and 3 Kobali ground stuff is available. So I'm going to go back and replay the whole Kobali ground thing on the planet and do that. And then I'm going to do New Frontiers and finish these two missions. So that'll probably be two videos right there, one for the Kobali and one for New Frontiers. And that'll catch us up and get us up to the point where we can now play the Gamma Quadrant missions. And then I will play Storm Clouds Gather, Armistice, the Search, Doom to Repeat, Quark's Lucky 7, and Tenebra's Turkant. These will all be separate episodes. I'll record these as separate videos. So I'm looking at this episode here, part 90, being a catch us up video. Then I'm looking at 91 being the Delta Quadrant Kobali ground stuff. So I can just clear that out. So that'll be the Kobali Crisis ground stuff. Then I'll do a number 92 video, will be playing the two missions under New Frontiers. I'll go ahead and do them both in one video and get them over with. And so that will be a long video, but it will have both missions played. And then the next video after that, we'll start the Gamma Quadrant missions, and then each mission will be a separate video. So there'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. That way we can play the new missions from a Federation faction standpoint. And that should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that. And yes, I will be rolling a Jem'Hadar character and doing these missions from a Jem'Hadar perspective as well. That will be after this. I want to get through these missions first because, well, this is what's new. These missions are new, and we've got to see what all this is about. And then I'll roll a Jem'Hadar character, and we'll play it from the Jem'Hadar, quote, faction perspective. So that's the order of things. That's what we're going to do. And so therefore, I will just simply be adding all of these videos to the Federation Faction 2012 playlist. So if you want to catch yourself up to this point, you can go back and watch those older videos. Just note they are from 2012 and 2013, so the game is quite a bit different. In fact, I believe in part 89 in September of 2013, we had just gotten the new Romulus expansion update. So that was kind of the new thing back then. And the max level back then was level 50. So yes, we've come quite a ways since then. And like I said, any other mission or episode or expansion that had come out between 2013 and 2018, I do have specific playthroughs of all those missions and the entire Delta Quadrant and all of that stuff as separate playlists or separate playthroughs. So just go looking through my videos and go to the playlist button and then look at all the created playlists, and you should find a playlist for pretty much everything you want to find. And if you're looking for individual featured episodes that came out one at a time, for example, during a season update, go check out my season news and update playlist, because that is where I have put those missions. Or if you know the mission name, just search for it on my channel, do a search, and it will bring it right up. So if you're looking for something specific, you can just search for it, and it's probably there. So that's a lot of update right there for what's happening and why this is happening the way this is. I just felt this was best to put it all into a new kind of series, but not really new, because we're still continuing a character that I started many years ago here, Ensign Ricky. Come on now. This is Ensign Ricky. We all know him. He's come a long way. He's come from a red shirt to really making a name for himself. And so that's what we will be doing here in part 90, is now I will be showing you, playing catch up to show you what this character has, so that you know going into the next episode what he's got as we start playing the missions. Okay, so first things first, Victory is Life just came out here in June of 2018. That did raise the level cap from level 60 to level 65. And as you can see, I have upgraded him to level 65. So he is literally max level right now. He gained all the new things that we got from each level: the Vice Admiral Starship Requisition Token, a single bridge officer specialization manual, a Fleet Admiral space ability. Since we are engineering, I got the intrusive energy redirection ability. It is a space ability, and I will show you that when we get into space. I got a Gamma Quadrant duty officer cadre, and I've got an Admiralty hero ship card called the CUV Tane. So those are new things I got just by leveling the character up. Let's start with my ground abilities and ground stuffs. First of all, I have redesigned the look of Ensign Ricky. It's still the same face. I haven't made any facial changes. He does have his trademark scar right there that he's had in the past. Or that I think he gained later on. He didn't start with it, but he gained it later on through combat. I did darken his hair a little bit, however, because I feel like he's gone a little more hardcore in his old age, and maybe he's coloring his hair. Well, who knows? Let's not blame him for that, shall we? Also, I changed the coloring a little bit on the Borg module he's using. I've darkened it. Let's just say battle damage. Battle damage, and so it's been darkened due to that. His visor is still the Intel visor. I also darkened it as well, just to give him a more aggressive and meaner look. Other things he has on him is the Intel wrist pad as well. It's darkened. The waist belt, this is actually a science kit waist belt, but I think it looks really good on him, and it's got this really cool looking like device here, and as an engineer he would have lots of devices doing device type stuff, so I really liked that. He's got the full pips on for our level here, Fleet Admiral. He's using the updated Odyssey badge, and then I changed his coloring around a little bit on his Odyssey uniform. I made it real dark on the uppers and the bottoms and the shoes, but then I decided, let's do a white up here on the top. It gives him a more diplomatic, a more official look. Like, his rank is really high right now, so I wanted to kind of indicate that by something a little different on the top coloring here. And then I lightened the orange coloring for his engineering career type. I actually used a real bright type of yellowish orange color that really highlights the colors here on the edges, on his wrist and his shoes when he walks. And as you can see, as he walks through even dark areas like this, he really pops. That yellowish goldish color really pops through even in dark areas. So I liked that quite a bit, and it gives him a really good look. So this is our new updated look for Ensign Ricky. Of course, all that is cosmetic. That does nothing for armor, but it just looks good. So this is our Ensign Ricky. Now let's go over his ground gear. So first of all, with the Victory is Life update, we can now update gear to mark level 15. That's right, 15. And of course, the max modifiers that you can have on here, or level basically, is gold level or epic level. And so I have updated the gear as much as I can to the max level supported. So let's go over what he is running right now. I have the full adapted Mako set on him. I did have that in the last video, or I had just gotten it. In fact, I had just gotten the Mako gear and maybe the adapted Mako. Well, I have kept with the adapted Mako. I haven't really changed anything from him. Remember, Ensign Ricky is all about sticking to Federation type stuff. Federation armor and shields, Federation starships. He likes Federation stuff, except for the weapon. It's a little different, but it's a really good weapon, and he likes it. So he is using adapted Mako armor. It is Mark 15 Epic, and just look at the specs on this thing. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. We get, of course, the Adrenal Booster and Blood of the Warrior and Integral Frequency Remodulation with this set as well. And then look at the shields. Adapted Mako, personal shields, capacity 2, regeneration. Just look at the specs on this thing. Absolutely amazing specs here at Mark 15. And so together, look at our health, 1161. And our shields are at 929. Whew. I mean, that's high. Our crit severity is 86%. Our resists are near 55 to 60%, except for radiation is a little low, and fire is low, cold is low, and psionic is low. But we should take a pretty good hitting here. Crit chance is 8.5%, and severity is 86. Very powerful. Just absolutely going to be, a tank on ground, which is what I wanted. Now for the weapon, I am using my tried and true Advanced Herald Anti-Proton Beam Projector, upgraded to Mark 15 Epic, of course. So very powerful weapon for ground, 277 DPS on its own. Very powerful. This is going to do a lot of damage. And of course, just so that we can get the full bonus of the adapted Mako outfit, I have the adapted Mako Phaser Pulse Wave on here, although I don't use the weapon. It's just here so that we can benefit from the full bonuses of this set. In devices, I have a Raiden Tribble. That gives you a little bit bonus energy damage and shield capacity. I have my Ophidian Cane. I have an Acid Horda for a little extra damage. I can send him out there to go damage things. And of course, my Shard of Possibilities for creating quantum shadows of myself, which will also do damage. So that's quite nice. I can do a lot of damage with this character. Now here's the fun part of this ground stuff. I have just built this, and I think this is going to be very unique, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this works in combat. But what I have put together is a kit module set that is all drones. All drones. Look at this. First of all, let's look at the kit. I have the engineering kit, Mark 15. It has a weapon proficiency boost, improved ground weapons, has a personal shield boost, improves ground shields, and a kit boost that improves all kit modules. So all my kit modules are improved. So weapons improved, kit modules improved, and shield is improved with this kit frame. Now look at these modules I have. I've got the Seeker drone, Mark 15, so that's maxed out. I have the Nomad drone. This is a level 75 Nomad support drone. So what does Nomad do? Nomad drone will follow and assist you. If you select an ally, it will also help the ally. Nomad will assist that target. Nomad has advanced sensors and has a bonus to detect cloaked or stealthy targets. Nomad is equipped with equipment diagnostics, quick fix, and shield recharge. It comes with improved shields and a force field to repel enemies. All weaponry capabilities have been removed from the drone for precautionary reasons. So it doesn't have weapons, but what it does have is equipment diagnostics, quick fix, and shield recharge, and it can apply that to myself. So when I launch it, it is basically supporting me and helping me while I'm in combat. Next, I have the Methuselah drone, Mark 15. That's right, the Methuselah drone. What does this one do? Okay. Methuselah drone fabrication creates a mobile drone that will hunt down and attack nearby enemies. The Methuselah drone is equipped with an intense heat ray and will self-destruct when near death. So that's great. It does radiation damage. It's got a heat ray. It's an attack drone, just like my Seeker drone is also an attack drone. On top of that, I've got the Echo Papa 607 drone system. So what does this do? Well, each drone that is destroyed sends combat information back to the system controller. As long as the system is active, a new enhanced drone will replace the fallen drone until the drone has reached a perfected state. The system is active for 60 seconds and then is given a forced cooldown. Each drone is equipped with a primary disruptor beam. After Mark II, drones gain a secondary wide-angle beam. After Mark III, drones gain a stasis field. Every mark up to a maximum of Mark V progression increases the power of the unit's primary and secondary attacks. So all of this is unlocked for me, and it is Mark 15. So I've got that cool Echo Papa drone from that TNG episode. And then the last drone I have, actually not the last drone, but one of the other drones I have is an explosive drone. So what does this do? Explosive drone fabrication creates a semi-autonomous drone which identifies and hunts down hostile targets. The drone is equipped with an anti-proton beam and a Cabardine infinite charge. The charge explodes upon reaching close proximity to the enemy target, causing kinetic damage to all nearby enemies. Additionally, this device will self-destruct in 20 seconds. Another attack drone. And then on top of that, I have my normal support drone that as an engineer you get. So this is also maxed out with my current level. It creates a support drone for 60 seconds. And this will also fire on enemies. So I can go lock and launch drone, launch drone, launch drone, launch drone, launch drone, launch drone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 drones that will hover and follow me and attack and seek. Just an amazing assortment. I've never had a character that has all drone consoles before, or kit modules. So I am looking forward to activating all of these at once. That should be a show, folks. That should be a show. I am looking forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun to play on ground. And of course, because I'm an engineer, I've got reroute power to shields. I also have an orbital chasing beam. So this is that orbital beam that comes down, and it will chase the enemy. I have that trait enabled. I've also got cover shield and threatening posture. There's my quantum shard I can enable for quantum duplicates of myself. I've got my attack horda. I have engineering proficiency. And this one is due to my skills, or my specialization tree I have active, but I've got Precision Offensive 2 available. This will give me a plus 10% shield penetration, and a plus 10 armor penetration, and a plus 20% chance to expose, and plus 4 second exposed duration. So if I want to basically get through a hard enemy, like a big boss, or somebody that has a lot of health or a lot of armor, hit this precision offensive, and that will give me shield penetration and armor penetration. So that is an ability I have. Again, that's through the specialization skills, and I'll go through that too. Of course, I've got my Herald anti-proton weapon down here. Because I am a liberated Borg, I have that neural blast I can still do. I've got my Ophidian cane, which holds and does psionic damage. I also have my integral frequency remodulation if I encounter Borg. I have the adrenal booster. That will give me a hit point improvement and physical melee damage as well. I've got Defiance. This is due to an active trait that I have. Basically, if I've got low health, I can activate this, and it will give me like plus 1,000 all damage resistance, and give me all damage as well. So it's something I can use when my health gets real low. And then I've got a nanite cloud to heal me if I do get real low and need to be healed. So as an engineer, I've got shield heal, I got the nanite cloud heal, I got the Defiance, I got the adrenaline booster, and I got a lot of heals actually for an engineer. But man, I am so excited for all of these drones that I have available to me. Note, I have never ever used the Nomad support drone, the Methuselah drone, or the Echo Papa drone. I have not used either of those three. I have used the explosive drone before, but I've not used these three yet. So it will be new experience for me using those drones. And again, everything's maxed out as far as it can go to Mark 15, and as high of a level as it will increase to. And so that's basically my ground stats and where I am on ground. I mean, just amazing abilities and stats here, I think. In terms of my traits, of course, I've got all my traits active. I've got several starship traits because I have had other starships on this character since I have played it in the last 5 years. I've gone through many starships, so I am using starship traits that benefit me. For example, improved predictive algorithms, improved critical systems, improved pedal to the metal, weapon system synergy, and retaliation. I'm using all those. I have unlocked the final tier of everything. As you can see, you do that from your fleet, your research fleet starbase, and I have done that. It's very expensive to do, but I have unlocked it so that I have 5 traits for starship, space, ground, and active. So all of them are unlocked. Of course, I've got my space reputation stuff set. I've got ground reputation. For space, I've got auxiliary power offense and defense. I have fortified hull for hull capacity. I have enhanced shield systems, and I do have rending shots. On ground, I've got 10% health. I've got maximum shield capacity. I've got critical hit chance and critical severity on ground, and I've got armor penetration on ground. And then active, I've got the nanite cloud. I've got the biomolecular shield generator. I have the anti-time entanglement singularity. I have Defiance, and I have deploy sensor interference platform. So I am full of traits. Under my reputations, I have almost everything unlocked. I do not have the competitive war games unlocked. I do not have Lucari unlocked, but I do have all of the Temporal Defense Initiative, all of the Terran, all of the Iconian, all of the Delta Alliance, all of the 8472, all of the Dyson, all of the new Romulus, and all of the new Kara and Task Force Omega. And I have just started on the Gamma Task Force. I do have Tier 1 of Gamma Task Force unlocked, and I am working on that, so I will have that eventually in the future. And let's see, under specializations, I am using Pilot as my primary, and there's a reason for that, even though I'm an engineer and not a tactical captain. The reason is because I am flying in a Defiant for this new series that I will be doing, or this continuation, because it fits in very well with the whole Victory is Life, Gamma Quadrant, DS9 themed stuff. But I do have Pilot set as primary, and that gives me a good turn rate. That gives me a plus 40% turn rate on my ship, so I do benefit from that. I like that a lot. And then I have Intelligence Officer as my secondary. So that's what I have set up right now. What else? My skills, I mean, they are what they are. I probably should go back and look at redoing them, but I mean, honestly, I'm doing pretty good. I'm just going to leave it how it is, because things are working out for me. Ground as well, I could probably do with some reskilling, but like I said, I'm doing well with this character right now in space and ground, so I really don't feel like I need to. Maybe in the future I'll look at reskilling if I have any points that I can retrain with. I think I do. I should. So that's the ground stuff. Let's see, I think that's all I can think of there on the ground stuff. We looked at all of that. Yeah, that's all the ground stuff. So that should put me in a good position ground-wise to play on this character in the future, in the missions we're about to play. That should give me a good advantage. What else? Now it's time to look at space. Now, like I said, this whole thing is being done because of the Victory is Life expansion and the new missions that we can now play. So because it's all Deep Space Nine themed, I wanted to fly a Defiant class starship. Now, in this game, there are a few different Defiant ships. There's a Tier 4 Defiant, there's a Tier 5 Defiant that can be upgraded to Tier 5U, and there's a Tier 6 Defiant. Obviously, Tier 6 Defiant would be the best one to have because it's Tier 6, and it's the latest one. But it does cost Zen, and I actually don't have enough Zen right now to buy the Tier 6 version of the ship. So actually what I did, because I already owned it, is I am flying the Tier 5 variant. In fact, I am using the Escort retrofit, not the refit, but the retrofit. So I am using a Tier 5 based Defiant. However, I've upgraded it to Tier 5U, so that will at least give us a little bit of an edge. That gives us these 4 masteries that I have unlocked. This is a plus 5% accuracy rating. This is a plus 5 defense rating. This is a plus 10% kinetic and energy damage out of the ship. And then this one is a heightened critical chance. So all of those are unlocked, so we get the bestest skills for this Defiant ship. And in addition, using the Tier 5U gave me 1 extra console somewhere. I don't know where it put that extra console exactly. I forget now, but it did give me 1 extra console slot. It also raised my hull strength higher than it would have been at just Tier 5, so I do benefit from the Tier 5U, but it is not Tier 6. However, I feel that I get by just fine with this Tier 5U ship because, well, I have built it very well, as you can see. First of all, everything is Mark 15, and everything is epic, except for the Hyper Ion thing. I ran out of resources to make it go to epic. So it's at ultra rare right now. But it's just one step away from epic. So might as well be max level. And it is max. It's level 15 anyway. Everything's level 15. So I have this thing decked out as much as I can in terms of upgraded gear, as you can see. Now, uniquely, I am using the quad cannons from the refit Defiant, the tier 4 Defiant, or tier 5, one of those. Whichever one comes with the quad cannons. I have taken them from that ship and put them on this ship. So I do have quad cannons. Why do I have quad cannons? Well, if you watch the TV show, that's one of the features of the ship, is that it can fire a quad phaser cannon. And I wanted to keep it thematic to the TV show as much as I can. So of course I am using phaser-based energy weapon damage. In addition, I've got 2 dual heavy cannons up front, and I need to re-engineer some of their stats. This one I need to re-engineer, but this one I did re-engineer, and I put damage times 3 on it with penetration and accuracy and damage. This one has a crit D, but I want to re-engineer that to another damage as well, so it will also have damage times 3. But it also does have pen and accuracy damage as well. And then this one has damage times 3 and crit X, and then accuracy and damage. But you cannot re-engineer the quad cannon, so it's just whatever it is. I also have a quantum phase torpedo. Again, this goes in line with the whole idea that the Defiant fires quantum torpedoes, or can fire quantum torpedoes. Well, these are quantum torpedoes, but they're even better than that. They're quantum phase torpedoes, and they have special abilities that will strip shields from ships, and I like that a lot. It is also part of the quantum phase catalyst set. Now, the interesting part on this ship, or this build anyway, is that I have 360-degree beams in the back, not turrets. Why not turrets, you ask? Well, in canon, in the TV show, in DS9, the Defiant actually has phasers. It can fire phaser beams in addition to the quad phaser cannons and the quantum torpedo. It's got a hybrid set of weaponry, you could say. It can fire cannons, the quad phaser cannons, and it can fire phasers. It has a standard ordnance of regular phasers. And so I thought, well, if the TV show has it, why can't I do that here too? And go ahead and put some beams, some phaser beams on this ship. But to better that and make it more useful, they needed to be 360-degree beams. That way, I can still fire forward with my cannons and at the same time benefit from all 3 of these 360-degree beams, just like I would a turret. So this is the trilithium enhanced omnidirectional phaser beam. It's 360 degrees. So when I fire forward with my quad cannons and my dual heavy cannons, this will also fire forward. So I'm getting beam and quad phaser action. Then I've got the omnidirectional phaser beam as well. It's also 360 degree. So that means both of these now are firing forward when I fire forward. And then in addition to that, the Borg or Omega set kinetic cutting beam, which is part of the Omega adapted Borg set, so that I can get the Omega weapon amplifier bonus. And it too is a 360 degree beam. It does kinetic damage instead of phaser damage. So now I've got 3 things in the back that do fire forward and do damage forward firing with all of my dual heavy cannons, just like a turret would. And I would argue these do more damage than a turret would. And I can use beam abilities with these beams. I can use beam overload, for example, or fire at will. You can't do that with a turret. You can't use fire at will with a turret. So I benefit from being able to have both cannon abilities and beam abilities under my tactical abilities. I can have cannon rapid fire and cannon scatter volley. I can have beam overload and beam fire at will. I can have all of that on this ship, which makes it very versatile and very powerful. So if you're saying you should use turrets, I say to you, no. I shouldn't use turrets. I should use these, and I like these. Plus, it's canon with the TV show because it does have both phaser quad cannons and beams. It can fire both at the same time. It's got them both in the TV show. So I have them both here on my ship. All right, now as for the space set, I've got the Soul Defense set on here. I have the deflector, the engine, and the shields. Again, just incredible specs on these things. We'll have to look in space at the specs. I have the Elite Fleet Plasma Integrated Warp Core with amp and everything on it maxed out. I've got the ion projector. I've got a reinforced armament set, which gives me transfer rate, hull restoration, hull capacity. I've got Trillium D for my resistances, maximum shield capacity, auxiliary power 2. Oh yes, and I've got the cloaking device. What would this ship be without a cloaking device? It is the Defiant. It's supposed to have a cloaking device, and it does, and I have it, so I can cloak. I have the temporal disentanglement suite, which is maximum shield capacity and critical chance and severity based on your auxiliary power. Also this one, which increases auxiliary power, and this uniquely also increases phaser damage, plus 26.3% phaser damage, which combines with my tactical consoles that also increase phaser damage. So pretty much it's like having 5 tactical consoles improving phaser damage. So as you can see, very powerful. And then of course the assimilated module. That makes for one powerful ship, guys. In terms of stations, like I said, I've got a ton of tactical options. Look at this. I've got 3 tactical bridge officer seatings on this ship anyway. And that's what allowed me to have this hybrid cannon and beam ability on this ship. So I've got cannon rapid fire, and I've got scatter volley, just like I said. Then I've got beam fire at will, and I've got beam overload. But look at this, I got beam fire at will tier 3 and rapid fire tier 3. So I got 2 tier 3 abilities on there. I've also got torpedo spread and torpedo high yield. Those are tier 2 abilities. I've got tactical team 1, and I've got chemosite laced weaponry for even more damage. So I've got this great ability to do cannon abilities, beam abilities. In addition, add chemosite laced weaponry to it to do more damage. This is powerful, man. This thing is powerful. I've got emergency power to weapons 2 for more damage as well. I got emergency power to shields to help stay alive. Remember, we are in an escort. I have science team 2 and polarized hull, again to help me stay alive because we are in an escort. Put all that together, and Ensign Ricky is set, man. He is set. Now, in terms of my assets and everything, as you can see, I've only got 1 million energy credits left. I'm down on dilithium. All my resources are real low right now. I got plenty of fleet credits, but everything else is like real low right now. My salvage is down too, so I can't really do much more at this point in time. But over time, I should be able to do. I want to finish re-engineering my front weapons, and then I do want to upgrade that ion thing to epic. But I've got tons of Omega marks, Nukara marks, Romulan marks, Delta marks, Temporal marks, and not so much of the others. I'm out of Undine marks, and Gamma, of course, is the brand new thing I'm working on now. But that's where I stand in terms of all my resources at the moment. I have unlocked some Delta lock boxes as well. And as you can see, I've got some rewards to sort through, and I probably will sell a lot of stuff for energy credits. But I didn't really get much from that. So that's what I got there. Don't really know what else to say. Oh, my bridge officers. I should, you know what I need to do? Before we play those missions, I need to go through my bridge officers, don't I? Because they only have Mark 12 stuff. So yeah, I need... Okay, well, I'm out of resources anyway, so forget that. I do need to upgrade them, and I want to upgrade them, but as you saw, I'm out of resources. So let's see, my Anar she has Mark 12 Mako stuff, so she's actually not terrible. That's not bad at all. My unique Borg, I guess I don't use her. My Breen, yeah, he's only got Mark 11 Jim Hadar stuff, and he's a Breen, and he's got Jim Hadar stuff. At least he has a CRM 200. Man, he needs to be worked on. I guess I'm not using you for ground. Okay, I do have a Jim Hadar. I got Jim Hadar set on him, but it's only Mark 11, and he has a Polaron full auto rifle. I do have a Voth, and I've got the Voth gear, or the Dyson gear, but Mark 12. And I do have the Dyson Experimental Proton Beam Rifle. So I've got these guys themed to what they would wear, but they're just not very upgraded. So I guess my ground set, the ground people I'll be using is my Anar, my Breen, my Jim Hadar, and my Voth. So a pretty good setup, very unique officers, very unique species, and they do have themed equipment. They're just not upgraded. They're either Mark 11 or 12. So I guess over time I will need to upgrade my bridge officers too, but for right now I guess they will work, because I'm pretty decked out, so I don't think they'll have too much of a problem with me around. So that's what I'll be using for ground missions. So that's cool, and that gets us ready to do stuff. So again, where I am here in the missions is that I have done everything. I did all of yesterday's war. Again, I did these to play catch up, so even though I haven't recorded these videos in this series, and I'm jumping from one thing to another here, I have already played these missions. I did the Once and Future Agent, the Core of the Matter, Vorgon Conclusions, Terminal Expanse. All of these have been played. All of the Delta Quadrant has been played, except for, like I said, the Kobali Crisis stuff. I have played it once, but I need to go back and do it again because it's not registering it, and that's because they reordered things a while ago, and so now I need to hail and actually go do them again, which is what I'm going to do in the next video. We're going to play all of the Kobali ground stuff, and that will get me practiced and ready to do the other missions, and that will show how good we are on ground too. I did capture the flag. I did everything else under the Delta Quadrant. I've done everything under the Iconian stuff. All Iconian missions have been played. I have played everything under Future Proof. Sunrise, Stormbound, Time and Tide, the Temporal Front, Temporal Reckoning, Ragnarok. All of those have been played on this character, so I'm not going to show that again. And then under New Frontier, most of these have been played. Echoes of Light, of Signs of Portent, Survivor, Mirrors of Smoke, Brush Fire, Beyond the Nexus, and Melting Pot. The last two I have to do are Scylla and Charybdis and the Renegade's Regret. And of course, I'll do that in one video as well. That will be very long, but I will do that. And then after those are done, we can get to the good stuff. We can get to the Gamma Quadrant missions. And each of these will be an episode, will be a video. Each of these will be one video. So if you're looking forward to the new Gamma Quadrant missions and my experience of those, in about 2 videos, you'll have that. In two more videos in addition to this one, you will have that. And then I will be done with Ensign Ricky for now. And we'll put him away for a little bit, and then I'll go roll a Jim Hadar character and record a Jim Hadar playthrough after I finish with Ensign Ricky here and getting through these missions. That's the goal. That's what I want to do. That way he will be completely up to date, and this whole Federation faction thing that I've been doing since 2012 apparently will be at a complete state for once. And it's been a long time coming, let me tell you. A long time. So that's the update. That's what's happening. That's what I will be doing. Oh, yeah. Let's go up to space and look at my stats, too, just so you guys know where the stats sit on my ship, because I didn't show that in space. Again, you can't see the real stats unless you are in space. So I think this will be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. So here's my ship, the Defiant. This is the classic Defiant design. I have not changed it, except I believe I might have changed the texture color on it a little bit. But other than that, it's the classic Defiant shape. No customization on the pieces or parts of it. So I'm sitting at 125 weapon power, 90 shield, 54 engine, 76 auxiliary. In terms of specs here, we are at 346% power transfer rates. My defense rating looks like it's 75. My stealth detection rating is 30. My hull is near 87,000. Hull repair rate is 48.6% a minute. Shield strength is at 18,000. Most of my resists are in the lower 40s. Some of them are lower, like the radiation and physical. A 17% critical chance, a 71% critical severity, a 34.6 degree a second turn rate, 47.85 flight speed. So those are the stats there. And if we go to weapons, let's turn on this real quick. My quad phaser cannons are 1947 phaser damage, 2337 DPS. The dual heavy cannons are 2778 phaser damage and 2222 DPS. Should be close to similar on those. The quantum torpedo is 9260 kinetic damage and 926 DPS. Now my rear beams, this is the trilithium enhanced phaser beam, is 1727 phaser damage and 1382 DPS. The other phaser beam is 1912 phaser damage and 1530 DPS. The kinetic cutting beam is 2518 kinetic damage and 1888 DPS. And then the ion thingy is 4000 electrical damage on that. So that's where everything stands. Now, of course, I can increase the damage of everything simply by hitting certain abilities here. For example, emergency power to weapons, plus power transfer and Nadion will give me a heightened thing. Also, Chemosite. So let's do like that, that, and that. And now this is like, look at that, 2440 phaser, 29 DPS, 28 DPS, 3500 phaser, 2419. So you can see how we can increase damage by using my abilities, of course. Here is the cloak, or where is the cloak? Here it is. So I can cloak, and then I should be able to hit all my powers while I'm cloaked to charge up and get ready to hit the enemy, and then decloak and fire on them, and I should get a little buff for doing that. Yes, I do. I get defense and stealth and plus 15 bonus damage for a brief duration after decloaking. Now, I was going to tell you about the new ability that you get at level 63. This one's called Intrusive Energy Redirection. Here it is right here. Intrusive Energy Redirection. It's a new ability. PBAOE, weapon and auxiliary energy siphon and bonus energy weapon damage. Targets self for 10 seconds up to 5 foes within 5 kilometers have minus 13 auxiliary and weapon power, and to self 6.5 to 27.4 auxiliary and weapon power based on number of targets, and to self plus 5% bonus energy weapon damage per foe affected. So basically, when you're in range 5 kilometers of foes, up to 5, it's going to drain their auxiliary and weapon power, and it's going to give you auxiliary and weapon power, and plus 5% bonus energy per foe that's affected. But the key to using this ability is being within 5 kilometers of those enemies, so you have to be very close for this to work. If you're not close, it just simply won't work. So this is one of those close abilities that you have to be. Now, typically in a ship like this, you may not be that close. I can fire from far away and do plenty of damage. And being an escort, I kind of want to keep my distance. So I'm not quite sure how useful that is. If I were a big, bulky, cruiser that moved slowly and was close to enemies all the time, tanking damage, this might be a good ability, but for the style of ship that I'm flying right now, an escort, it may not be the best of abilities, or may not be very effective. Yeah, I think it'd be more effective for a cruiser, which is probably the intended use because it is an engineering ability. I'm just happening to use an escort on an engineering character. But those are my powers, and that should do a ton of damage. I should be able to tear through any of these missions very easily with this ship. And in fact, I have demonstrated that before. I did do the Swarm under normal difficulty with this ship already, and I have done also the Battle Zone, the new Gamma Quadrant Battle Zone in this ship. I demonstrated those, and you saw, or will see, or did see how powerful this ship was. Well, it's even better now compared to those videos. So if you saw those videos, this ship is way more powerful now than it was in those videos. So it's going to be able to take on these missions we're about to throw at it very well, and it is themed very well to Deep Space Nine, which I'm very happy about, and I'm very excited. I cannot wait to play these new missions, especially the Gamma Quadrant ones. So if that's what you're here for and you want to see all of that new content, you know what to do. Subscribe, ring the bell, get notified, give it a thumbs up, yada yada yada. Well, that's the plan, everybody. This has been an update playing catch-up video for Ensign Ricky. And now in the next video, I'm going to go catch up even more by go ahead and doing the entire Kobali world ground missions and finishing that, so that then we can go do the other 2 remaining missions, and then we'll get to the Gamma Quadrant stuff. So thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.